Soundbytes. Quick clips, long-term learning.
So this next case was a 60-year-old woman who came in with respiratory distress. And as part of her workup, she ended up getting some aorta scans here. So we're going to go through an aorta scan. So Amelia, how do you usually identify the aorta? There's a lot of vessels here. How do we determine which one's the aorta, and what sort of landmarks do you typically use?
Yeah, so you know that the aorta is going to be anterior to the spine, so you can look for the spine sign to confirm that the vessel you're looking at is indeed the aorta.
Right, so in here, I think this is the spine. You see the hyperechoic line here. So this is reflective of the vertebral body with posterior shadowing behind it. And then typically you'll have two vessels that are just anterior to that. And if the sonographer has the probe in the correct orientation, this is the patient's right over here, and the patient's left over here. So up towards the patient's left, or the screen right, will be your aorta. And then towards the screen left will be the IVC, typically. So let's focus our attention on the aorta. And do you see anything abnormal within the aorta here?
Looks like there's a hyperechoic line that's in the middle of the aorta, potentially a dissection flap. It looks like it's pretty mobile with every pulsation of the aorta.
Right. Yeah, so with each heartbeat, that flap is going to undulate a little bit, and that's one of the reasons why you would need to make sure that you have good heart rate control for the patient, right? Because each time the heart beats, it's potentially further extending that dissection flap. So if we were to measure the aorta, though, it grossly looks normal, but they didn't measure it. Do you think that there's associated aneurysm with it, or how do you typically do a measurement?
Grossly, it appears normal, but we can measure it from top to bottom, anterior to posterior.
Yeah, let's just do a measurement here. So we usually would do it at end diastole is typically, and we would do a measure from the outer part of the wall to the other outer part of the wall. So, just around 3 centimeters, which is kind of top normal. So, she does have definitely a dissection flap there. So let's keep going. Now let's look at a longitudinal. This view is okay, but I think they got a little bit better view next. Perfect, yeah. So now you can see a little bit better aortic anatomy. So Emma, what are some of the branches you're seeing here? So like this up here near the heart, so this patient's head and towards the feet, you see some branching coming off.
Yeah, so that first branch that's coming off is your celiac trunk, and then that next branch is your superior mesenteric artery, and that'll kind of curve around and run parallel to your aorta.
Right. So it comes off kind of at a 90-degree angle, then we'll go down and follow it parallel to the axis of the aorta. And then usually I have the inferior mesenteric artery after that, but it's a lot of times hard to see on ultrasound. So let's play the clip again and look at the aorta lumen. And you can see that dissection flap again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems to be moving with each heartbeat as well. So then they're going to go over towards, here's another view. They're going to go do the heart. So why do you think that they're doing an echo in this situation?
So I think sometimes if the dissection flap expands enough, it can interfere with the aortic valve and cause some aortic regurgitation. So my guess is that's probably what they're looking for here.
Yeah, they can do that. And then there's also sometimes the dissection can dissect backwards into the pericardium and actually cause cardiac tamponade. So in this situation, or this scenario, we don't see any significant effusion, right? We have the descending thoracic aorta here. It's not super well seen, right? But there's probably like a little bit of a dissection flap right there, because on this patient's CTA, they had a type A dissection, meaning that it came off around the aortic arch and kind of extended all the way down towards the abdomen. So this is the thoracic aorta, and there's probably a dissection flap in there. It's just not super clear right here. But I don't see any significant pericardial effusion that would be concerning for developing tamponade.
Got it.
Yeah. So other ways, in general, sometimes people can get confused between the IVC and the aorta when they're scanning. They did a good job of recognizing the IVC here. But generally, the IVC is going to be more thin-walled, can sometimes be compressible if you use enough pressure, and is towards the right of midline, versus the aorta, which is going to be more thick-walled, will be pulsatile, not going to be compressible, and it's the left of midline.
Soundbytes. Quick clips, long-term learning. This soundbite is a shorter, digestible segment taken from our monthly Soundcheck podcast. For the full episode, check out the podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/MedStar Emergency Physicians or visit mepsono.com.